Test, 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 test. Good afternoon, good evening, or good morning, wherever you are in the world. My name is Raheem. You may know me as Random or Mega Rand. And this is episode 2 of my wrestling podcast, which is called Mega Rand's Mania, which is named after an old wrestling video game. Now, you may have remembered, or hopefully you heard, episode 1 of my podcast, which was about a month ago. I only do these things once a month because I got stuff to do, you know. The last one I recorded from Houston, Texas. This time, I am not recording from Houston. I'm recording from my house in Phoenix, Arizona, where it's hot, but not super hot, but hot enough. So I already gave you guys the rundown of why I do this. It's just, I'm a casual fan who's into wrestling again after taking some time off. And I really enjoy the program. I subscribe to the network. I watch some indie stuff as well as the big leagues. And I'm into it. So I decided I would drop a post pay-per-view episode each month. And this month's was Hell in a Cell, live from LA at the Staples Center. Unlike last month, I wasn't actually at this event. I was at home because I'm getting ready to get married. Got no road shows in a while. There are some things happening tonight. If you're hearing this on Monday, the 26th, I will be doing a performance at the Microsoft store in Scottsdale, Arizona, for the Halo 5 release party. But I also just found out WWE 2K16 is coming out, which is cool. I'm excited about that. I played the last one last year, and I gotta be honest, I didn't really dig it. My biggest problem was that it had too many load times. I mean, you press start, it's loading. You pick a character, it's loading. You pick something else, it's loading. Let alone create a wrestler. Oh my gosh. I mean, it takes an hour to create a wrestler just because of the load time. So I really hope they cut down on load time. So I made a wrestler on the last one. I wrestled through the little leagues trying to make it to the big shot, and I kept losing. Like, I couldn't win matches. So I never actually made it to like NXT or anything like that. So had a tough time with that. But the game was fun once you actually played a match, but it was just way too much going on. Anyway, wrestling games are probably the hardest thing to keep accurate as far as like gimmicks, because people change factions, people turn heel, people turn face, they turn on people, and so they're almost never accurate. Like, people change their look all the time, stuff like that. But this one might actually be pretty close to accurate because there haven't been any major swerves in wrestling in quite a while, which is a bit of a letdown, but it is what it is. Before I get into my breakdown of Hell in a Cell 2015, just had to update my people on what was new. And what was new was this morning, I woke up to a couple of phone calls from people telling me that I was on the Today Show. And that's correct, I was. I think the link is actually on the Today Show's website now. The Today Show and a couple people from NBC Universal were at the Portland Retro Gaming Expo, where I was last weekend. Had a great time out there. Big shout out to everybody who took care of me. DJ Switch, who was the one who really put me in and got me the connect in there. Bruno Floss, who I played with, was great. Jason Heine, who is a drummer who does some drumming over video game tunes. He's also from Arizona. I had to shout him out because that's cool. I don't hear about cool things like that going on here. So that'll help me when I start working on putting shows together and like finding a diverse group of people to play a show with. So who knows? I might actually work with this guy. So, but the show was amazing. Great retro. I've only been to one other retro game expo, which was Too Many Games right outside of Philly. And that place was awesome too. So I really can't complain. The two game expos I've ever been to have both been really great. I think this one might be the biggest one, hence the reason NBC was there checking it out. So, gotta shout out Morgan, who was the reporter for NBC who interviewed me. I would love to get a copy of the whole interview because, you talk to somebody for 20 minutes and they only use 2 quotes. One quote was that if I ever have kids, they're going to play duck hunt. And another one was that the inner child comes out of you when you go to these events and things like that. 2 quotables, I'd say. Potent potables. But what can I say? That is the way that worked out. But hey, I'm on TV. Like, that was dope. So big shout out to them for even putting me on. Also, in that video, I'm wearing a Toronto Blue Jays hat. And it's only because I was in Toronto while the Blue Jays were playing and they wound up winning. And so I thought to give them a little bit of good juju, I'd get a hat. Plus it's blue. I like it. I like blue. But they did lose to another blue team, the Royals. So there we go. Now, many of you know, and some of my friends were disappointed in me for wearing a Toronto hat because in 1993, way before probably some of you were born, right before the internet, way back, the Philadelphia Phillies lost a heartbreaking series to the Toronto Blue Jays. A guy named Joe Carter comes up, smacks a home run, crack, crack. And you may have seen that picture on Drake's back-to-back cover. So there you go. Toronto, mortal enemy of the Philadelphian. Or at least you would think. But yo, that was 22 years ago. Bygones are bygones. Completely different teams. Phillies absolutely suck. So, whatever. Anyway, so big shout out to Toronto. I believe this is the first time since then that they've done anything like really cool like that. Like get out of the first round or whatever. So, big shout out to them. Even though they didn't make it, maybe next year. Maybe the Phillies will come for them next year. Or maybe not. Anyway, I can move on to my Hell in a Cell wrap up, but first I want to play you a song. And it's only because I just feel like sharing a new song. So I'm going to start with something new from me. I'm not even going to explain it until afterwards because honestly, I'm not sure what I'm going to play. But you know what I am going to play because the book just turned 100 years old. A book called The Metamorphosis by Franz Kafka. So I'm going to play you a song that I made in 2012 called Buggin', which is all about one of my favorite books, The Metamorphosis, and Gregor Samsa, who wakes up transformed into a monstrous vermin. So anyway, check out this really weird song, and then I'll be back on the flip side to get into my Hell in a Cell wrap up. It's Mega Ran. It's Matt Mania. See you in a sec. And there it is, Metamorphosis. All about the day that I transformed into a bug. Now, a lot of things are transforming around me right now. To segue it out, as I said, I'm getting married. My mother is here, at least until the wedding and maybe a little after. So the mood has changed. Kind of reminded me of, remember the old vignettes they would do when a new wrestler was coming? Like Taz, they did pretty good with that. Y2J, they did get that a countdown. Glacier, they hyped him up pretty well, but he sucked. But I remember the thing with Taz, they were like, the mood is about to change. Boom, 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 boom. And then eventually Taz would come and make a minimal impact in the WWE. Unfortunately, I remember listening to him talking on Stone Cold's podcast, and he was just saying, like, he just kept getting hurt, like, and he wasn't comfortable, and he would have toughed it out if he felt like they were going to do something cool with his character, but they just never really did. So he had no reason to think that was going to happen. But my mother's debut has been much more of a splash than that. So far, so good, though. She's been super helpful. You know, there's a good and bad to everything. Good, of course, she's helpful. She cooks and cleans. She's up early, you know, but she's in her own space. Bad, our space is very small, and she's living with us. So it's me and my fiance and my mom. So it's kind of like female overload right now. A little too much estrogen popping off. So occasionally I have to get out, you know, and get a break from it. But it's good though. It's really good overall. But again, the place is small, so I gotta get into my little corners. And it's like I go into the kitchen and she's coming in the kitchen. So it's like Friday. Tom, I'm in the kitchen. You in the kitchen. Eating all the hog maws. Drinking all the juice. Yeah, and she loves snacks. I mean, she is the snack lady. Mrs. Snackwell. Like, every time I see her, she pulls something out of her purse. Like, hey, you want some cookies? You want a piece of candy? She knows I love Swedish fish. So she came with some Swedish fish, and I couldn't refuse. But anyway, let's get it on. What's good, Matt Maniacs? This is Mega Ran, Matt Mania, Hell in a Cell wrap up. Now, I found a new website that I read for my new wrestling dirt. It's called DNA India. I want to check it out. I'm going to compare their comparisons and their predictions with my predictions, and we'll see what happens. Now, quick note, NFL football was on at the same time, which it always is. But my team, the Philadelphia Eagles, who are terrible, were playing. Now, you know, I'm a glutton for punishment when it comes to that. The Eagles are not good this year. I know that. However, I keep coming back. I want to see. I don't know, man. I just feel like they're going to turn the corner. I feel like an idiot. I'm a jilted lover that, you know, just doesn't listen. And I keep thinking they're going to just turn it around. I don't think they're going to turn it around. But anyway, I spent a lot of the pay-per-view flipping back and forth to attempt to watch two things at once. So, first match I actually missed. It was the dark match kind of thing. Rusev, Sheamus, King Barrett versus Dolph Ziggler, Neville, Cesaro. Good guys versus bad guys. Here's what DNA India said. They said that the bad guys got the win on Raw, and the good guys are going to come out winning here. What actually happened? Exactly what they said. Good guys win. Neville pulls off this amazing, crazy, I forget what it's called. Dang, I wrote it down and then I must have deleted it by accident. But Neville did this really cool thing and this flippy movie and got the pin. Neville is great. He's fun to watch, man. Dolph Ziggler, I don't know. They don't know what to do with that guy. Cesaro, another one they don't really know what to do with. Rusev, another one. Just a lot of talent here in this match. Sheamus is the Money in the Bank winner and isn't even on the card. It's kind of crazy. Anyway, time for the U.S. title match. Because I didn't see that match. I can't really rate that. But the U.S. title match I did see. This is when I tuned in. First match of the night. U.S. title match. Interesting. Alright, John Cena is taking on a mystery opponent. He's doing the U.S. Open Challenge, which has created and produced some of the best matches, at least televised and pay-per-view stuff, that I've seen in quite a while. Some really great matches. DNA says John Cena is about to take some time off. I didn't know that. Turns out he's doing some TV thing, like an American Gladiators type situation. So he's going to be out for a while. Wait, because if he was going to be out for a while, I feel like last month or the month before that, they should have just let Kevin Owens get the better of him instead of getting buried by him after, But I digress. Anyway, I'm going to start off by saying, before I talk about any of these matches, I was extremely disappointed with this card. I did not think it was a great pay-per-view. Maybe I'm just a little jaded. I just thought it was one of the worst that I'd seen in a while. But anyway, here we go. So John Cena's taking some time off. They say somebody's going to have to probably take the title off of him at Hell in a Cell. Interestingly, DNA says that on the Total Divas show, which I do not watch, that's a total miss for me. Even though I watched it like twice and I thought it was interesting. But I don't watch enough TV. There's enough shows I haven't watched. I haven't finished BoJack Horseman, which is great. So I'm definitely not going to stop watching that to watch Total Divas. But anyway, Dolph Ziggler's been chasing Nikki Bella on the Total Divas show. Nikki, being Cena's girlfriend, this gives some ammunition. Maybe they can do some real life, heat stuff, and then bring Cena Ziggler. And that feud will begin at Hell in a Cell with Ziggler being revealed. As Stone Cold would say, that just ain't gonna happen, son. Let me tell you what did happen. Is that some son of a bitch that you ain't seen in a long time made a debut, or a re-debut. And his name is Zeb Coulter. That's right, Zeb Coulter fought John Cena. No, he didn't. But Zeb came out and he announced his opponent would be Alberto Del Rio. Del Rio's a good guy. Now, I don't know much about the backstage stuff, but I read that he left because he cited racism backstage as a big reason. Big reason as to why he left. Now, he's back, so I don't know. Anyway, Alberto returns with a tan. He's in great shape. He's looking really good. He's looking ready, man. He looks good. And this match was great. Lots of fast action. He actually beats John Cena clean. There was no cheating tactics involved in this match whatsoever. So I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really dope. He did some tilt-a-whirl stuff. They did the tilt-a-whirl backbreaker. He pulled off some crazy running enziguri. They traded some strikes. Cena was trying to get the AA off. Del Rio won the match by countering it with the backstabber, which is that really dope backbreaker he does. And then the super kick to the kneeling Cena. Slap, clap, heard around the world. 1, 2, 3. Pin Cena. Absolutely clean. New U.S. champ, Alberto Del Rio. Now, I mentioned something on Twitter that I don't know if anybody else knew. Is that it's actually National Hispanic Heritage Month. And I wonder if that has something to do with the reason for bringing Alberto back. They were talking about trying to bring back Carlito to be for that time period. But they, I don't know, he wanted more money or something. So Alberto came back. The money must have been right. And he's a former world champion. I mean, everybody had that world title. But, I mean, The Miz, come on. So, anyway, former world champ really doesn't mean anything. It was during the Dark Ages. And times where there were 2 world titles. And it just didn't make any sense. But anyway, Alberto is back. And hopefully he'll be a fighting champion. And I think it'll make for some good TV. Next match was, to me, the match of the card. Roman Reigns, Bray Wyatt, Hell in a Cell. Oh, first I gotta grade that match. I'll give that first match an A-. I actually thought it was a really, really good match. Props. I thought the energy was great. Pacing was awesome. And, the surprise factor made it Probably even better than it actually was. So, match number 2, Roman Reigns versus Bray Wyatt in an actual Hell in a Cell match. So they're going to lower the cell. I've been watching WWE since, the 80s, and then again in the 90s, and again in the 2000s, and then again in the 2010s. So, but they've been using the same music when they lower the cage. It's this dun 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 dun. I wish I could actually find that music and play it. But anyway, still a very ominous sound, winner of this match was Roman Reigns. Now, there were some highlights, man. These guys brought out tables, they brought out chairs, they brought out kendo sticks. I mean, it was insane. I think, I don't know, man. These dudes went all out. Like, I give them ultimate props. Like, I did not think this was going to be a great match. But what I don't like is that it seems like Bray gets buried in every feud. Like, he had the Jericho thing, he lost that. He had the Undertaker thing, he lost that. He had the Cena thing, he lost that. And like, he just loses every time in these big feuds. But anyway, I don't know. DNA said this is the final installment of the long-drawn Reigns-Wyatt feud. This match will take place inside of a cell, and the stipulation is that if any of the Wyatts interfere, Reigns wins. But Reigns will win anyway, because he's had an awful year after the Royal Rumble win, and there is talk of giving him a world title run next year at WrestleMania. As for Bray, he'll continue to look like an amazing character who does not get his due. Well, they were right about pretty much all of that. Reigns has had a rough year. He's been getting screwed around, but they've been making him work his way back up, which I really respect, and I'm not mad at it, because at the beginning they were trying to hand it to him. The fans were like, no, you can't hand it to him, and so they screwed him and then screwed him and then screwed him again, and just made him completely work his way back. So he's working on it. But there were some really, really great spots. There were 4 table spots. There was like this bookend rock bottom from Bray. There was a spear through a table. There's a power bomb through a table, and then I think there was a Sister Abigail through a table. Main thing, I didn't agree with the placement of this match being second on the card, because it was really good, but I guess nobody really expected that, and there wasn't a title on the line. But still, it's in a cell. Like, that's a big deal. Anyway, nobody went on the top of it or broke the door down or anything cool like that, but it was way above expectations. Like, this match was a straight A. Like, I loved it. Great. Only thing that could have happened better would be Wyatt winning. Next up, tag team title match, New Day versus tag team title match, New Days versus the Dudleys. The New Day is minus Xavier Woods, but plus the trombone, so that helped. I guess something happened. I don't know. Like I said, I don't watch SmackDown or Raw as much as I'd like. Something must have happened. Xavier's he might be storyline hurt. He told me he was doing something else. He wouldn't be able to be there. And sure enough, he's not there. So, storyline hurt, but the trombone is there. No one's playing it, though. They're just carrying it like in remembrance. Like, it's kind of weird. But the trombone was beat up. And then during the match, there were quite a few tributes to Eddie Guerrero tonight. And I thought that was pretty awesome to see. And the first one was during this match. Kofi did the classic Eddie Guerrero move where he threw the trombone at Bubba and then fell down, like as if Bubba used it to hit him with it. And it didn't work. That they didn't ring the bell. They didn't give him the match that way. But Big E snuck and hit Bubba in the back with the trombone. Kofi hits him with some crazy kick, and the New Day wins. A lot of gyrating happened by Bubba. Dudley's super entertaining. New Day super entertaining. Pretty average match for them, though. I mean, no tables involved, especially after 4 tables in the previous match. Major letdown to not have any table action, and I was afraid that was going to happen. So I thought the scheduling of these matches, I had several problems with the order of these matches, and I felt like if you have a writer or several writers who write in this show, they would have to realize that, keep in mind what's happening next to reflect that. But anyway, it was a good match, par for the course for these guys. So maybe C plus. I don't know. Again, no Xavier Woods outside yelling and stuff. But anyway, New Day wins. New Day rocks. Still entertaining gimmick and still way over with the fans. And it's good to see that this program is actually still going on. It's not something that they're going to just kind of drop, because it's still a pretty fresh one. Overall, yes, I give this match C plus. Next, Divas title, Charlotte versus Nikki. This was my time to flip back to Sunday Night Football. And I'm no sexist. I do like a lot of women's wrestling. I was hoping Sasha Banks or Paige or somebody I actually enjoyed would have been in this match. But I don't enjoy Charlotte or Nikki per se for their wrestling ability. Charlotte did do some crazy reversal off the top rope. It was like a reverse kind of Frankensteiner, but it turned out she just did a backflip like off the top and then drops Nikki like on the back of her head. So it was pretty crazy. Like, the impact was nuts on that. She caught an early bump, started bleeding across the bridge of her nose. Honestly, Charlotte won this match with the figure 8, and I was disappointed because of the pacing of the match. I just thought it didn't make a lot of sense. Right before Charlotte gets the win, Nikki does this Alabama slam outside and bangs Charlotte's head on the ring apron. Like, I've never seen it before. Like an Alabama slam to slam someone's head. So it was crazy. And then 10 seconds later, she's winning the match inside the ring. So I thought that was pretty weak. Like, I don't know. I'm all for a good reversal, but I thought that was cheesy. But anyway, Charlotte wins. A little bit of drama with the ladies. PCB comes out. But Paige is like extra friendly, like trying to push Becky away, like, yo, this is my friend, like trying to hold her arms up. I'm hoping Paige pulls off some kind of heel turn, and I don't know. It's really a strange situation, but I don't care that much. I just want to see Sasha Banks whipping tail. Anyway, next up, this is again a very weird situation with the scheduling of these matches. But real quick though, I'll grade that match. That grade C, I guess. Anyway, so now the world title match is happening. Rollins versus Kane. You got the world title match coming before the Intercontinental title match and before, the big grudge match. Really strange. Makes no sense to me. I don't know. I understand them trying to pace things, and these guys are professionals, and I'm not. But why isn't the world title the last match on the card? Like, that's a big problem. Anyway, so DNA India says, remember, this feud started when Kane appeared in his old form and attacked Rollins following his victory over Sting at Battleground. So he beat him up after he won. He was back to the Demon Kane, and we're like, oh, Demon Kane, nice. And that was when I predicted that they would have a match at Hell in a Cell. I was disappointed because I thought it would be in a cell, but it was not. Also, I was really disappointed. I thought that, with Seth Rollins is truly like an innovator with offense. I was expecting to see him climbing up on the cage, but it wasn't even a Hell in a Cell match. So, anyway, pretty terrible match though, honestly, with pacing, because Seth Rollins completely dominated. Now, if you spend a whole month billing Kane as this demon who just doesn't care, how does Seth Rollins just manage to constantly dominate him? I mean, kicks, jump kicks, knees to the face, like power bombs him on a table. Like, he totally dominated and beat Kane fair and square in the center of the ring. So Rollins wins. And I was so disappointed. Like, maybe that's just because of, in my opinion, I wanted Rollins to win the match. I wanted Sting to win the match. And I wasn't expecting it to happen, but I wanted him to win. I just did. I don't know. I thought he would win. I don't know. I wanted I thought Kane could pull it off because, I don't know, he deserves another title shot before his career is over. But now he lost this match. He is out of control. He's regular corporate Kane is out of the Authority. So maybe he'll just go full demon and just start burning stuff, and they'll get rid of this stupid corporate Kane / demon Kane gimmick because it's terrible. Sipping some lemonade that mama made. So let's see what DNA said about this match. They said, there's no way Kane is winning the WWE title. Whether he needs to is less important than the fact that Rollins needs to keep it. After defeating Sting, Rollins can claim to have beaten Demon Kane. He will likely use a lot of foreign equipment and cheap tactics, or even get Kane disqualified in some way. Either way, the stipulation feeds into a Rollins victory. Demon Kane loses, Corporate Kane gets fired, and Demon Kane will then bring his alter ego storyline to an end. Thank goodness. Kane will go back to being a badass who takes his frustrations out on the Authority and Seth Rollins. We can even expect the Triple H interference, didn't happen, to prevent Demon Kane from winning. Not quite. So anyway, Seth did win, but he won 100% fair, which, I don't know, man. I complained when he was cheating to win, but I feel like you shouldn't, I don't know, with a guy like Kane, I think you should have to cheat, but I don't know. You know, I'm the typical wrestling fan who doesn't know what they want, because I complained last one when he had to cheat to win, and then I complain when he wins fair. I don't know what I want. I just don't. Anyway, this match was disappointing on my side of things because I wanted at least a more balanced match. So I'm giving it a D. Yeah. Only way it could have been an F is if maybe Kane didn't get the choke slam him at all, but at least he did get a little bit of offense. Did his top rope lariat. Did a couple cool moves. Anyway, after this match is now the Intercontinental title match. They put it in the Divas match cool down spot, which is terrible. Again, I don't feel like they know what to do with these title matches. They're very confusing. I don't know what's happening. So, Kevin Owens versus Ryback. This is a match that not a lot of people care about. However, people do like Owens. I like Owens a lot. He's got great moves. Now, DNA India says, like Reigns and Bray, this match will likely end the Owens-Ryback feud. In theory, Ryback's the babyface. In reality, Owens is more beloved. Owens is also a fresh IC champion and should keep the title. Ryback can keep floundering around in the mid-card while Owens looks for a fresh feud. This is what I was hoping for, is that Owens would win and this feud would be over and they find him somebody fresh. You know, I wouldn't mind. People mention Sami Zayn. I think that would be amazing. Ambrose would be my guy. I'd love to see those two go at it. That's a feud I could see lasting for months. Like, they both got attitude. I think it'd be amazing. But backstage, something happened where I don't remember which match it happened before, but they show a backstage vignette, and it's Reigns after his match getting congratulated by Ambrose, who's not on the card, saying good job and all that. And he's like, yo, should we do that? Should we talk about that thing? And he's like, no, let's do that. Let's talk about that tomorrow. So I don't know if they're talking about a Shield reunion. I don't know. People have been teasing an Ambrose heel turn. I just don't know. But anything can happen. Ambrose could be a freaking star. Like, I really think he could be. And for him to not be on a card is just crazy. But anyway, I read the prediction. Now I'll tell you what really happened when Kevin Owens and Ryback went at it. Now, these guys had, it was a brute match. You know, it's one of those things that I knew it was going to be one of those matches where the big guys are, being big guys, slapping each other around and stuff. But it was constantly Owens outsmarting Ryback that shone through first. There was a lot of, oh, look, come over here. Nope, just kidding. Whoop. Doing a lot of cool stuff. But anyway, I thought I didn't think, but when I read the results, it looked like that Owens did some type of an eye rake, and I didn't see it the first time, so I don't know. So they're going. Owens tries to do the pop-up power bomb. Ryback hits him with a meat hook, almost gets the win. Owens hangs onto the ring apron while Ryback hits him. Owens counters with this illegal strike to the eye, allegedly, and then brings him off the ropes. Pop-up power bomb, bam, pins him. So again, hopefully this feud is over. Lots of people I like to see him face. None of them are Ryback. So I don't really know what Ryback can do. It seems like he will kind of flounder if he's not in that title picture, or maybe they can throw him into the U.S. title picture. I don't know. Anyway, they got to do something with the Intercontinental title. It's a great title, and it's like my favorite belt, like as far as looks of the new belts, and because it looks like the old one. And man, I just remember all those great Intercontinental feuds. I mean, from Savage and Steamboat, to Jericho, and everybody. You know, like there was so many great Intercontinental title matches that I just, man, it's like that stuff is gone now. Like nobody's, I don't know. I kind of wish that Rollins was the Intercontinental Champion, and then I feel like those are the matches we'd be getting with him as the Intercontinental Champ. That would bring it back to that Shawn Michaels Razor kind of feel. But he's the man. Anyway. So, moving right along. That match, kind of a snooze fest, but I give it a C. And on to the main event. Third time and final time, they say. Undertaker versus Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar. Anyway, one thing I quickly noticed is that Brock bled super early in this match. Alright, my pick was Brock with shenanigans. That was my pick. So, now, first, I will tell you what DNA India thought. They thought, this is the match that's hardest to predict. But I'll pick a Brock Lesnar win, simply because Lesnar needs this victory more than Undertaker to keep his image as an unbeatable monster intact. Undertaker got a tainted win at SummerSlam. Even if it was tainted, it's a victory. So the tide. Dead Man winning again would hurt Lesnar's credibility. In a true sense, he has been unbeaten since he conquered Undertaker's streak at WrestleMania. Side note, even though, he did lose the belt, he was not pinned. He got interrupted by Taker during the last match, so he hasn't lost, in a year and a half. Like, no one's beat him. Lesnar's rumored to be in line for a title match at WrestleMania 32. So he will need to keep his unbeaten record intact. And this will happen after a lot of violent action and some Paul Heyman interference. Heyman interference did not happen, first of all. It was a Hell in a Cell. So I knew they weren't going to go up top and do anything crazy. But I don't know. I noticed both Hell in a Cell matches, there was a lot of outside the ring action. And the outside the ring area was very tiny. And there was not enough space to do anything. So this is the overall impression of the whole night, is that having those matches in that little area, and it just didn't make a lot of sense. So I don't know. They need to start taking those matches outside and climbing on the cage a little bit. But anyway, then the cameramen were in the way. There's, I don't know, all kinds of just silly shenanigans going on. But Lesnar starts bleeding immediately, and I wound up getting into, not an argument, but just a debate with a guy on Twitter who was like, blading is illegal, so they didn't blade. So both guys bled in this match. Now, if you don't know, blading is intentionally cutting yourself, like with a razor blade, on your forehead, so that you can, mix it with sweat and create a vicious bleeding effect. Lesnar has bled in pretty much every match he's been in. And what I've read from different people when they talk about it, blading is illegal, but a lot of the main eventers just do it anyway, and they'll just face a fine and they'll just deal with it because it makes for a better match. You get some color in there, as Stone Cold said. Get a little color in that, and it just makes it, just gives it a better feel. So 2 seconds into the match, when Brock starts bleeding, I was like, whoa, did he just blade wrong, or I don't know. So I don't even know if he bladed. It didn't make a lot of sense for him to do it that early in the match. But a friend of mine who was watching it, my boy Phil, said he saw Undertaker blade as well, and he handed the blade to the ref. So there you go. For them to say, oh, you're not supposed to blade, and they have a cut man that stays inside the ring. They also have gloves for the referee. So the ref had gloves. And so, not saying he expected blood, but he was definitely ready for it. So, anyway, DNA India predicted Brock Lesnar win. I also predicted shaky Brock Lesnar win, but Brock Lesnar win. Brock bled early. We had a lot of impact early on. There were only about 4 or 5 suplexes. He did give the Suplex City quote, and it was like 3 F5s. Brock then got desperate and started exposing the ring underneath, which is something I've never seen before. Like, he rips I don't even know how that happened. Maybe he just took his blade to it or whatever at some point in the match. So he starts ripping it open. That was cool. And underneath is a pad, so he ripped the pad off, and then there's just wood. So he exposes that, and then he gets it backfired on him, where he then gets chokeslammed on it. Tries to hit him with the steel stairs, that doesn't work. Just a lot of high impact stuff in the match. Both guys bloody, just going at it hard. Low blow is what kind of got Brock the advantage. Taker looks at him, gives him the it's over, and Brock gives him the hardest low blow I've ever seen. I mean, it was like bing, and yeah, and then flips him up to an F5 on the exposed wood. 1, 2, 3. Brock Lesnar wins the 1-21-1. Has won, and he is 2-1 on Undertaker, and they say it's over. It's not happening anymore. Lesnar leaves. He's hurt. He wobbles out. Taker's still laying down. He tries hard to get up, but like a man, of course, Undertaker does not leave with help. So he sits up. They get some thank you Taker chants, and then the Wyatts come out and they beat up Undertaker, just stomp him, tee off him. I don't really know what this is about. But then they also grab him and they carry him out of the ring. So they kidnap him, basically. Which reminded me of the old Ministry of Darkness angle from the Attitude Era, if you guys remember. And if you don't, let me give you a little bit of history. Here we go. This is back in 1999 or so. Justin Bradshaw and Farouk formed a tag team called the Acolytes, a dark and brooding tag team that were just whooping everybody. At their, I don't remember which show it was, but it was on Raw, definitely, in 98. They abducted a guy by the name of Dennis Knight. They beat him up and dragged him out. The next day, or maybe a week or so, he came back, and he was then Midian. I don't know if you remember that. At the Royal Rumble in 99, the group of Undertaker, Midian, and the Acolytes abducted Mabel. Mabel, huge dude, rest in peace. And they renamed him Viscera the next night, and he started wearing black. Then, the Brood got kidnapped, and then they were recruited. And so the Undertaker started this stable called the Ministry of Darkness, and he wanted to own the WWF and kick out Vince McMahon. Vince, during this time, was actually a good guy, kinda, because Undertaker was just being so mean. And he claimed, I remember he said, "You're taking this thing way too far, Mark." And then he thought that Mark Calloway was taking the Undertaker gimmick too far, and that he believed he was the second coming of, the Lord of Darkness. So McMahon then put Undertaker in the second ever Inferno match, a rematch of the first, as Undertaker would face his brother Kane, who had joined the corporation, so he was Corporate Kane. Very similar to what's happening now. He was Corporate Kane to avoid being sent to the asylum. Undertaker beat Kane, as he usually did, and burned a teddy bear. And no one knew what the teddy bear thing was all about, but it turned out it was later like a Stephanie McMahon kid's toy or something. So for weeks, Undertaker was revealing that his ministry was taking orders from a higher power. He kept talking about this higher power who owned the key to everything. They would all just leave the burning symbol on his yard. They beat up the big boss man in a Hell in a Cell match, and that was a terrible match. They hung the boss man from the cell. They were doing some pretty extreme things. But anyway, at WrestleMania, they tried to, what were they doing? Oh, they wanted to sacrifice Stephanie, and then Stone Cold came and saved, and it was just got so stupid. And then later on, Undertaker finally revealed his higher power, and it was Vince McMahon. And the classic line where Vince says, "It was me, Austin. It was me all along." Ah. And anyway, that was some great times. So if they're working on something similar to that right now, like a new ministry, and that's Undertaker's final, move, I'm not mad at that at all. If he starts a new ministry, that would be pretty cool. They also noted on the network during one of the commercials that this coming Survivor Series makes 25 years since the beginning of The Undertaker, because he debuted at the Survivor Series. So I'm looking forward to a team of either the Wyatts versus Undertaker and his team, or Undertaker joining a team of the Wyatts. I don't know if that's going to happen. But anywho, I am about done with my wrap up. Oh, I didn't give a grade to that final match. I think that match, I'd give that match a B+. Great action, some really good near falls, and the after stuff set up some new things that I think I'll find interesting in the future. So overall, I was disappointed at the pay-per-view and more disappointed at the Eagles, but I'm not mad at it though. I thought it was entertaining. So speaking of entertaining, I hope you found this episode entertaining, and I've got more entertainment for you. I'm going to play you a song that was supposed to be on the Random album, but was not. It is called Feng Shui. I've played it live a couple times if you see me in Phoenix, but I did not use it for the album. Produced by a guy named Round One out of Tucson, and enjoy that new song. And I will see you on the flip. If you enjoyed it, rate it highly, share it, let people know about the Mat Mania podcast. As usual, have a great week, and keep your shoulders off the mat. I'm Mega Ran. Enjoy the new track, and I'll see you on the flip. Peace.
Had to rearrange some things, girl, 'cause it just ain't the same, no way. I've had to rearrange some things, girl, and you just in the way.
35 with a broken shower head. I want a Roomba and a freshly cut flower bed. Left the scuffle with my mouth bleeding, but this time I got a few hits in. I'd say we're about even. This is my house, I'm not leaving. This time is the last time, so time to do some house cleaning. Couldn't call the cops, cause I was in the wrong, trying to force opposites together who ain't get along. Thought the energy was strong, but it might have been harming me. I joined the black sect for some harmony. Feels good doing what you were destined to do, but only less than a few will wish blessings for you. When it's good, everybody will claim the down, but when it's bad, call up the homies, they ain't around. Gotta play interior decorator, clean house, hurt feelings, they'll respect you later. Told you it was gonna change someday, someday. Guess what? This is that day. Feng Shui. And I told you it was gonna change someday. Someday. Guess what? This is that day. Feng Shui. Goodbye. Spent the better part of 2 years touring and making records. Seen the game from a bunch of different perspectives. Why, yes, my disputes are domestic. They occur in the U.S. What a stupid question. Anyway, I just got paid. Slipped it under the mattress where it's found by your maid. I'm on the run from the two most dangerous gangsters. You might have heard of them, Uncle Sam and Sally Mae. We got the strangest love. 1 minute I'm yelling like an angry thug, no Richard Sherman. But your actions seem to get me burning. Then we fight till I'm wearing the eye patch like Major Blood. The neighbors stare like broken escalators. No money, no problems, I guess you made it. Time to play interior decorator. Peace and blessings to you, I hope I don't catch you later. Peace. Told you it was gonna change someday, someday. Guess what? This is that day. Feng Shui. And I told you it was gonna change someday, someday. Guess what? This is that day. Feng Shui. Goodbye.
Don't forget to check out our other programs, like Bits, Rhymes and Life. Monthly on the Nerdy Show Network. Get equipped, fool.